Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Walker, the H, the E, the N, and the D, and welcome to the 39th episode of the Wrestling Madness Podcast. Hope you had a great Christmas. I had an awesome Christmas, in fact. Very quiet. I was working. But, yeah, I got some few stuff. I got a lot of stuff, and you know what? On today's show as well, I'm going to talk about Raw, talk about SmackDown, talk about anything else that's relevant in the world of professional wrestling, and also what's to come in 2015 regarding moi and regarding some couple of podcasts, because I've got a couple of podcasts in the work for you. Oh yes. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I had a great Christmas. Hope you guys had a great Christmas too. Hope you guys stayed safe. Hope you guys had a lot of turkey and all that good stuff. I was working 26th of December because I was working at the Butter Ground. Yes, I part-time safety steward at Middlesbrough Football Club, good old MFC, and it was actually a big night, to be honest. A big day, in fact, big night, big day, because over 32,000 saw Middlesbrough, my team, my soccer team, beat, and I say soccer for my American views, football for the English people, they saw my team beat Nottingham Forest 3-0, and it was 32,000, highest it's ever been, so that was a great Christmas present, not just for me, not just for the fans of Middlesbrough, not just for the Riverside Stadium itself, but yeah, pretty cool Christmas present. I got PS4 camera. I don't know why I didn't get this with the PS4, but hey, you know, got PS4 camera, so I'll be making good use of that once I get round to it. I got a new hard drive for my laptop and my PC and shit, you know, for I do the work to provide you, so I can get some more space to provide you good podcasts and that, and definitely that'll come in handy. Some socks, sweets, aftershaves, you know, Lynx, Brute, and all that good stuff as well. And the weird thing is, I got Lynx. I got a Lynx packet, right, with two of the body sprays. I swear to God, right, it had free headphones in, earphones in, because when I go places, I like to listen to I've got music on my phone, I like to listen to it as I'm going places when I'm walking. I do like to walk, and I ended up getting these things. I have never seen these earphones anything like these earphones in my life, because they've got like a zip. All the other normal ones, they don't have it. They've got like a zip, so when you want to tighten them up a little bit or loosen them, you can just pull the zip down and up and everything. It's fucking awesome. Bit annoying, but it's awesome. But yeah, and also as well, I got the main piece of the puzzle, baby. I got the main pièce de résistance, which is what I'm currently wearing right now. I got an ICW t-shirt, Insane Championship Wrestling. I have talked to you about these guys in the past. I got my first bit of merchandise over Christmas as well, a black ICW t-shirt, and I'm so fucking joyful with it. It's beautiful. I'm wearing it. I've worn it. It's fucking amazing. And yeah, and that's all I've got. And I've got one more present to get as well, guys. Hopefully I've got that today. I don't know if I have got that today, but I'll let you know in due time as well. You know, I've wanted it for my other projects that I'm doing as well, which I'll let you know later on. But yeah, other than that, it was a good Christmas all around. Besides the odd fraud bullshit that I went through, got fraud in my bank account and everything, and that, but that's all sorted now. So yeah, other than that, very quiet Christmas. Perfect Christmas if you're a Borough fan as well, which I am, and we won 3-0 against Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day, which was tremendous. And yeah, the perfect Christmas. Absolutely perfecto Christmas indeed. Now, today's also going to be, you know, we're going to talk Raw, we're going to talk SmackDown, we're going to talk anything else that's relevant in the world of professional wrestling. Got a couple of podcasts in the works that I'm doing in the moment right now, which I will bring it to you early in the new year. It depends where I can get them up as well. I'll talk to you more about that later. Also later on, ladies and gentlemen, I will be talking to you about a website. Yes, your boy, the presenter, the creator of the Wrestling Madness Podcast, the guy that's given you 39 episodes of the Wrestling Madness Podcast. I've got my own website. I'm getting my own website up and running for you lovely, lovely people to check out. More on that later on. But until then, ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm going to bring you the Raw review. So without further ado, here we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Raw results. Raw kicked off this week with Hulk Hogan, or as he was known, Hogan. And he came out, addressed the audience, welcomed everyone to Raw and all that. Hogan chant breaks out in WWE Universe and infested. And he also announces that tonight Big Show will go one-on-one with Roman Reigns, believe that, brother, and Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. And then John Cena's music hits, he comes out, talks to the crowd. He actually got a good cheer, and then the minute he got in the ring, he started getting booed. Talks about how much he wants Lesnar, but the highlight of it was when Seth Rollins' music hit. Oh boy. And Hogan asked him for a wish. Rollins' wish was for John Cena to allow the Authority to come back. John Cena basically told him to shut up and said you're boring the audience and all. And he told around and said it for the last time. I'm pretty sure it was for the last time at least, that he would never bring back the Authority. They're not coming back now, not ever. But then Hogan decided to make a match between John Cena and Seth Rollins. But it wasn't for later on in the evening, it was for after the break. So the match was up. After the commercial break, the bell rings. The Let's Go Cena chants and Let's Go Cena sucks chants were breaking out as always. It was just a normal match for me. This match, John Cena versus Seth Rollins, a good match to start off at least. But it was a normal match for me. And yes, J&J Security stuck their nose in where it didn't belong, as always. Rollins smiles at Cena before getting to his feet. Rollins goes for the curse stomp, but Cena grabs his foot and applies the FCF. Rollins gets the bottom of the rope. Cena pulls him back to the center of the ring. J&J Security stick their beaks in, and Cena sends them both in the corner before hitting them with a corner clothesline. Cena gets both men on his shoulders and did exactly what he did at TLC to them, except this time it wasn't through a table. He AA'd them both with them. Yeah, except it wasn't through a table. Cena then ducks a Money in the Bank briefcase shot from Rollins and goes for the AA to get the victory and beats Rollins 1-2-3. It was okay. Okay match to start off, nothing fancy for me. Later in the evening, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt went one-on-one. We'll go one-on-one in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Now, for those of you that don't know, A Miracle on 34th Street was the name of an ECW pay-per-view. But this is a street fight, and with it being Christmas, it was A Miracle on 34th Street fight. And also announced that Piper's Pit was back, and it would have Lana and Rusev as special guests. Yeah. And then he came back from the commercial break and teased the season to be Jolly Plays. Kane then walks in, and the music stops. Kane simply says, "Bah humbug." Okay. Quite a bit of a shocker here. Jack Swagger versus Fandango. Pretty okay match. But surprisingly, Fandango got the victory. And a clean one at that. Yeah, a very clean victory at that. So that had to be a shock. That was a shock to me, Fandango winning. Will Fandango get brief? I mean, this new and improved Fandango is good. I mean, he's got his own, it's like a Latin version of Fandango now. It's not the one that used to come out, with fucking, like he was off Dancing with the Stars or something. Rejected with Dancing with the Stars. He's got his own way, his own dilemma thing. But, hey, credit to him, and he got the victory with his diving leg drop for the win. After Swagger received 3 kicks straight to the head. Dolph Ziggler was in action, and he will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Luke Harper. Yes, it was the rematch. The match kicks off. Luke Harper invoked the rematch clause in that. Was this match as good as the TLC match? No, because it was just a normal match. It was just a normal, regular, I invoke my rematch clause in, let's have the match now kind of thing. No Christmas Miracle is going to give the WWE Universe the present they deserve. He'll go out there and steal the show, which he did, as he always does. More on that later. He always steals the show. There's no, no if, end, or buts about it. He will always steal the show. Commercial break, and then, oh God. A vignette of the New Day replays with the 3 of them talking about how they are better together. And I say that with a straight face. Like I've said before on many episodes of my podcast, and I said this I think once on it is regurgitated shit, Sunday Segway right about this, but in my opinion, New Day are just 3 guys being put together because WWE doesn't have a clue what to do with them. Is it working? Yes, to a point. Will it last? Who knows? The 2 experienced ones out of the group are Kofi and Big E Langston, because both of them have held the Intercontinental Championship. Big E's held the NXT title, and Xavier Woods hasn't done nothing since TNA. Will this work? We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, right now, I mean, these vignettes though, it's like three James Browns are on there at once. Either that or WWE's, regurgitated the old cat Ernest Miller gimmick and enhanced it themselves to WWE stature. You know, remember the old 3-time karate champion? I'm the greatest. You know, used to come out with the James Brown stuff and all that. That's what it kind of is with these three. But, you know, like I say, it's regurgitated, but WWE have added their own twist to it. But who knows where the future holds for New Day. Replays are shown of Kane giving Adam Rose and Bunny double chokeslam on Raw, and Kane then giving the Bunny a tombstone power driver. The next night on SmackDown, Kane gave the Bunny another tombstone, and the Bunny actually wore a neck brace coming out. Need I say more? Adam Rose versus R-Truth. They lock up and Rose hits an arm drag before taunting the crowd. They lock up again and R-Truth applies the side headlock. Rose whips him off, but R-Truth holds the ropes and dances. Rose dances as well before having a kick blocked. R-Truth then rolls up for the win. Need I say more? I guess Adam Rose is the heel, despite the fact he always comes out with his you know, his crew. You know, Adam Rose always talked about don't be a lemon. You ask me, I think he's the lemon. Later on, Piper's Pit, special guest Rusev and Lana, Roman Reigns and The Big Show. 1-on-1. Also next week, the final Raw of 2014, we'll see probably one of WWE's greatest tag teams guest hosting. That's right, Edge and Christian are back. And also it was announced that Hogan will be in charge of SmackDown this week. So, more on that later on. A pre-taped promo of Big Show is shown as Big Show gets ready for his match with Roman Reigns. This was building from what happened at TLC, and yeah, you know, this was a good match for what it was. I mean, you could see this match was coming, like I said, it was building from TLC, but I wouldn't have liked to have seen this, you know, on Raw. You know, maybe have a match build up and then, you know, put them in like a Royal Rumble match or something, but hey, they had the match. It was okay for what it was. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like was the count out at the end, although it was very impressive count out because Big Show charges him, but Reigns drop kicks him in the knee. Reigns then goes outside and hits him with a drop kick to the head. Reigns then hits a Superman punch that sends Big Show over the commentary's table. Reigns gets in the ring and takes the count out victory, which was okay, I guess, to a point, but I would have much rather seen, you know, I would much rather have allowed Reigns to get the pinfall over him. I would have allowed that to happen. But hey, it was a good match nonetheless. Hopefully there'll be another match with these two in the near future. Maybe at the Rumble. I don't know. But I guess we'll see. And after the match, Big Show angrily comes out of it and knocks the commentator's table over. Renee Young is backstage with Dean Ambrose. Need I say more? Probably getting turned on, no doubt. Yes, they are together, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know. Like I said, Renee Young, she asks how he is preparing for his match against Bray Wyatt. Ambrose says he's been preparing all year long. All year long, he has been a really good boy, hoping for a present today. He went to the Mall of America to find Santa Claus, but he didn't find him. He did find a security guard with a white beard. Ambrose told that man all he wants for Christmas is Bray Wyatt. Tonight he'll get his wish. Every time a bell rings, Bray Wyatt gets a beating. Ambrose wishes Renee a happy holiday before walking off. But that's not all he wished her, if you know what I mean. Happy holidays. Yeah, come to my hotel room. I'll show you a happy holiday. Anyway, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella were named WWE's one of the top power couples in sports in 2014. Okay. Natalya with Tyson Kidd versus Brie with Nikki Bella. Now, a good match between these two. Brie had the audacity at one point to blow Tyson Kidd a kiss before stomping Natalya and applying an abdominal stretch. Natalya punches out before going for a slam, but Brie counters with a roll-up attempt. Natalya goes for a sharpshooter, but Brie counters into an inside cradle. Natalya rolls through and picks up the win. Okay match. I mean, these two can wrestle, don't get me wrong. Brie's vastly improved, but it was just another normal Divas match. And to be honest, this was not about the Divas match, to be fair. It was about Tyson Kidd and, what I call it if you ask me, Tyson Kidd and Natalya. Tyson Kidd comes in the ring and hugs his wife. Natalya knocks Nikki Bella off the apron and she clutches her knee. Natalya then holds up the Divas Championship before putting it down and walking off. maybe Natalya is next in line for a Divas title shot. Hopefully. Because like I say, she deserves to be in that spot, if you will. A vignette of the Ascension is shown to hype up the Ascension. Wow, it's not easy to say. Dolph Ziggler will defend his Intercontinental Championship against Luke Harper later tonight. We also see the addition of Piper's Pit, yada yada yada. Now, Gold and Stardust, yes, let me rephrase that. Goldust and Stardust took on Los Matadores. Now, this was a shock as well, because probably one of the best tag teams in WWE at the moment lose to Los Matadores, El Torito. Goldust the mistake for this was Goldust and Stardust were too busy concentrating on trying to get El Torito. Goldust catches El Torito and then accidentally slings him into Stardust. Fernando hits Goldust with a backstabber before El Torito covers him with a springboard moonsault for the win. Will this elevate Los Matadores into the title picture? And for those of you that don't know, Los Matadores is Primo and Epico. Just saying. And more on Los Matadores later on during the last part of the podcast, because I'm going to be talking about WWE.com's top 25 matches of 2014, and trust me, you are not going to believe some of the picks, but more on that later. It was announced that Big E, after a break, Big E would take on Stardust in the main event, WWE main event, on the WWE Network, and we go to the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, like I said, this match was good. It got a rating of 2, according to the website that I'm looking at. Was it as good as the TLC match? No. Because it was just a normal. Luke Harper lost to TLC. A couple of weeks have gone by. I'm going to cash my rematch clause in, invoke it, and blah, 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 blah. One thing leads to another. Here we've got a match. Don't get me wrong. Dolph Ziggler steals the show. Harper goes for a powerbomb, but Ziggler counters into a sit-out facebuster. Ziggler then connects with the Famouser for a near fall. They trade punches while down on their knees. They get to their feet. Ziggler goes for another Famouser, but Harper counters into a powerbomb attempt. Ziggler gets out and connects with a pair of super kicks, and boy did he ever. He kicked him right in the face. 2 super kicks that basically knocked out Harper on his feet. He was stunned on his feet. Ziggler then hits a zigzag. Harper was punch drunk, because as you see, after he took the zigzag, he popped back up doing punches, thin air punches, really knocked out. And Ziggler gets the win. Again, Ziggler steals the show. Jerry Lawler interviews Ziggler in the ring. Lawler says Harper gave him a hell, but he pulled it off. Ziggler says he pulled it off because of the people in the arena. It has been a long road, but after everything that has been put in front of him, he's overcome it. No one will take this Intercontinental Championship from him. The crowd gives him a good hand as he goes to the back. Up next is Piper's Pit. Now, Roddy Piper comes out, does his old usual routines, and he talks about America and how these two have become a couple of Scrooges. You know, there's no reason for them to be a couple of Scrooges. Piper calls them communist Scrooges. Piper says he likes Rusev so much he went out and got him a Christmas gift, and you know what, he even put a bow in it, and the Christmas gift turned out to be Ryback. Ryback's music hits, he walks out, he's got a bow on him, hence the bow thing from Piper, and Ryback comes down to the ring and Rusev backs off. The commentators are talking about how successful the USA Network has been for Monday Night Raw. Replays showing of John Cena beating Cena in the Seth Rollins rather in the opening bout. 6 Divas Santa's Little Helper tag team match. Alicia Fox, Emma and Naomi versus Cameron, Summer Rae and Paige. Paige being the Divas champion, this match got 1-star rate, and I couldn't understand why, to be honest. Alicia gets tagged in, Cameron goes to punch her and goes for a roll-up, but Alicia counters into a leg drop DDT for the win. It was just a normal, typical Divas match, really. It was a 1-star rating. Probably the lowest rated segment of Raw, according to this website that I'm on. Just double checking. Oh no, apparently the Los Matadores match was 1-star as well. Like I say, just a normal run-of-the-mill match. Miz and Mizdow. Well, Miz took on Jey Uso, and again, this was just a normal match. This rivalry's been based off what's happening with Naomi, who is the Uso's wife, and I don't think they've got anything else to do with this, as far as booking it goes. Anyway, this match was a 3 out of 4 match, just a normal 1-on-1 match. The Miz beats him. Nothing much to say, really. Jay gets out of the skull-crushing finale attempt, kicks him away, as he attempts a figure 4 leg rock and goes for a roll up. Miz counters the roll up with one of his own and gets a win and grabs the tights. But like I said, it was just a normal match for me. Hopefully Miz and Mizdow will defend the tag titles against the Usos at the Rumble. Hopefully. Bray Wyatt. A promo of Mick Foley appeared before I go to Bray Wyatt. A promo of Mick Foley appeared on the Monday Night Raw shown that will be on the network after Raw. Bray Wyatt made his way to the ring for the main event of the evening, the Miracle on 34th Street. Cuts a promo, says that he has taken Dean Ambrose into his world once before. Right before their very eyes, he'll do it once more. They can also enjoy this moment with him. It's the buzzer thing, and then Dean Ambrose hits and out comes, and we have a match. Now, this match probably stole the show of Raw, to be honest with you, because it was a great match. According to this, it was a 3-star match. I would have given it a 5-star match. I would have given it a 4-star match, in fact. Maybe 4, 3.5, because it was good. You always get good matches with these two, as it's shown. Bray Wyatt won by pinfall. You know, at one point, Ambrose grabbed out of a TV monitor, but thought better of using it, considering what happened at TLC. Ambrose then sends him into the ladder. Wyatt sets the ladder up in the corner and throws him face first into it. Ambrose. Wyatt slaps him in the face a few times before going for Sister Abigail, but Ambrose gets out. Ambrose then sends him into the ladder before rolling him up for a near fall. Ambrose sets the ladder up and climbs to the second to last rung. Ambrose then takes him out with an elbow drop whilst he is standing for a near fall. Ambrose puts some chairs on top of him and grabs another one. Ambrose climbs the ladder and Wyatt pops up through the chairs to hit him in the face. He threw a chair in the face. Ambrose falls off the ladder. Wyatt then sends him face first into the kendo stick wedge in the corner and picks up the win. Except 3.5, probably 4-star match for this. It was the match that stole the show. Bray Wyatt wins the proverbial rubber match because Dean Ambrose won boot camp at Tribute to the Troops. TLC, Wyatt won, and he won this one as well. Replays a showing of the conclusion of the match. Wyatt goes to grab Ambrose at ringside to inflict more punishment, but Ambrose sprays him in the face with a fire extinguisher. Ambrose punches down on a table before getting on the apron to the second rope. Ambrose then drops an elbow, crashes Wyatt through the table. Ringside, Ambrose laughs as he lays in the wreckage of the table. Now, I don't think this feud's over by a long shot, but where this feud goes, I do not know. But this match definitely stole the show. Now, my rating for Monday Night Raw, I'd probably say 6 for me. 6 out of 10 for me. 6 out of 10 for me. Now, I'm going to take a time out there, ladies and gentlemen. And when I come back, I will have SmackDown's main points, as well as the views and opinions in the world of professional wrestling. So stay tuned for that. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters for weekly episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast and other wrestling related content as well. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Right, SmackDown main talking points. SmackDown kicked off this week with Hulk Hogan making a huge SmackDown main event. While the immortal Hulk Hogan kicked off SmackDown with a bang, Seth Rollins quickly interrupted to deem the Hall of Famer the Seth Rollins of the 80s, and to inform Hogan that WWE's ring now belonged to him. And Mr. Money in the Bank wanted the iconic superstar to endorse him as the future of the WWE, though Hogan said that title might belong to Dolph Ziggler. The humbled show-off emerged to invite Rollins to leave the ring, and things nearly came to blows. Before they could, however, Big Show interrupted to add his size to the equation, only to be counterbalanced by Roman Reigns. After consulting with fans, Hogan made the main event Reigns, Ziggler versus Rollins and Big Show. A rematch from TLC saw Ryback go one-on-one with Kane. Though Rusev decided to get involved in Ryback's showdown against Kane, the Human Wrecking Ball was able to knock the hero of the Russian Federation from the apron to defeat his opponent with a meat hook clothesline and then shell-shock combination. But after the contest, a double assault by the Russian superstar and the Demon proved to be too much for Ryback to handle, culminating in the big guy getting locked in the accolade. Later, as the result of Rusev's actions, Hulk Hogan decided that he would put the United States title on the line and wouldn't learn whom his opponent, number one contender, would be until he got in the ring. And speaking of that match, the man turned out to be, despite a protest by the ravishing Russian Lana over Hogan's decision to place Rusev in a United States title match, the hero of the Russian Federation was ready to go up. His surprise number one contender was none other than Dean Ambrose. In the final moments of this intense match, Bray Wyatt attacked the Lunatic Fringe outside the ring, bringing a swift end to the match by disqualification, while the Eater of Worlds tried to decimate his unstable adversary. After the bell, Ambrose fired back with a pile of chairs and ultimately sent Wyatt heading for the hills. To the main event of SmackDown, which saw Roman Reigns, Dolph Ziggler go against Seth Rollins on The Big Show. Through Roman Reigns speared The Big Show in the height of a blockbuster SmackDown's main event, a little help from J&J Security allowed Seth Rollins to regain the advantage over his former Shield cohort. But once Dolph Ziggler took out both Mercury and Noble, Reigns roared back with a second spear of the night on Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank, to get a huge tag team victory over Rollins and The Big Show. What will happen tonight on Raw? Because you can tune in to find out. Right, before the commercial break, ladies, before the break, and before I talk about WWE.com's 25 matches of 2014, there's got a few things I want to discuss. It seems Tyson Kidd and Cesaro's tag team is now called Masters of the Universe, or Masters of the WWE Universe. That's what I've heard and what I've read. They're wrestlers, they're not something of a He-Man cartoon. But like I say, I hope this helps these two. These two look good together, I will say that. But I genuinely hope that these two, get the dupe that they deserve, maybe go for a tag team title run, and I hope this gets Cesaro back in the picture where he belongs, because let's face it, like I said many times, after he won the Battle Royal at WrestleMania, it kind of went downhill from there, didn't it? Now, I also read this week that there's a possibility of Roman Reigns not winning the Royal Rumble match. Now, there's all this talk about Roman Reigns facing Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble, yada 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 yada. Now, that popped up on Facebook. I wrote back and said, good, give it to Dean Ambrose. Because, in my opinion, I wouldn't mind seeing Dean Ambrose get a push. All this talk about him, maybe he's been booked wrong against Bray Wyatt. And he was definitely booked wrong against Bray Wyatt in the TLC match. That stupid ending was just the most ridiculous thing ever. But he needs to keep this babyface thing, and maybe go for the title. Maybe win the Royal Rumble too. I don't know what the hell is going on with this. I guess we'll find out at the Rumble, January 25th. We all know Reigns is already in the Rumble. He's already made that clear. Will he win it? We will see. I wouldn't be disappointed if he does win it, but it's like many people, myself, James Powers, Mike Rodriguez, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and many of others said, in our opinion, Dean Ambrose is the future of the WWE, and WWE would be crazy not to go with Dean Ambrose. Apparently, Sting's next match will be November, probably WrestleMania. I reckon the best time to bring him back will be after the Royal Rumble. I would say I would agree on that, but we'll have to wait and see. Just to go off a little bit of key here, apparently there was a domestic at Kevin Nash's house which led him to be in jail, basically. TMZ have got it. Check out TMZ and all that. Apparently his son got a little out of line with him and he chokeslammed him, and apparently alcohol was involved. I'll read this article that I got from NoDQ.com. As noted earlier, TMZ broke the story of Kevin Nash's recent arrest for an assault on his son Tristan. Their intentional report mentioned that Kevin Nash chokeslammed his son during the incident, but that doesn't appear to be the case according to the police report. Here's how Tristan described being taken down by his father. He said his dad took a hold of his throat with one hand and grabbed his right shoulder with the other hand, then forced him down to the ground by the upper chest, neck area and shoulder. He said his father held him down on the ground by his chest and put pressure on it, rendering him unable to breathe. He also told police that as he was taken down to the floor, he struck his left elbow on it, causing a laceration, and hit the back of his head on the ground, adding that he blacked out due to that for a second or two. Now, say what you want about this, but as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, at least in my opinion anyway, and I think everybody else realizes this was the work of the beautiful thing that is called alcohol. Has went too far on this, and it's caused this to happen. From what I heard, Tristan got out of line with his parents, and Kevin obviously didn't take too kindly to that. And apparently there was a lot of spitting involved as well, spitting in the parents' face and that. I don't know the full story behind it, those are just what I've heard, but it seems that alcohol was involved, and alcohol can do some stupid things to you. That's why I don't drink that much, because I never want any situations like this to happen to me. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a commercial break. I'll be back after this with my thoughts, a few promotions on EPW and the podcast and the future podcasts and all that, and what's to come next year in 2015 for me, at least. And also I'll be giving my view and opinion on the top 25 matches of 2014 according to WWE.com. Oh joy. Stay tuned, I'll see you in a bit. Be sure to listen to the Wrestling Matters podcast each and every Monday, only on Mixcloud, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Podomatic, and SoundCloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans, we talk about Monday Night Raw, we shoot the breeze, we pipe bomb, and we tell it like it is. Tune in each and every Monday for the Wrestling Matters podcast, where wrestling matters. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 39, and I'm going to end this podcast not with the views and opinions in the world of professional wrestling. No, I did that before the break, along with the SmackDown main point. I decided to make way for this, because I saw WWE.com's top 25 matches of 2014. Oh boy, well these are joy, let me tell you. And I'm going to talk about them, I'm going to give you my opinions on them right now. And then after that, I'm going to do some quick promotions and what to look forward to podcast land in the upcoming weeks and maybe in the new year too. So before I get to that, let me talk about these 25 matches of 2014 according to WWE.com. Right. I will kick off with number 25, of course. Start from 25 to 0. Number 25 was Daniel Bryan versus Kane in an Extreme Rules match for the World Heavyweight Championship at Extreme Rules. I've got no problems with that. That was a brutal match in itself. It was a fight. Kind of a weird ending, but if I remember correctly, but it was a fight nonetheless, so I would say that deserves its place in the top 25. And as we all know, Daniel Bryan retained, because that was back then the Authority's way of trying to get the belt off Bryan. 24 was Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon from SummerSlam. The match that was a great match, and that was until Nikki turned heel on her, which in my opinion kind of spoiled it, to be honest. And yeah, it was understandably why they went down that route, because when Brie quit at Payback, Nikki took the brunt of what was supposedly going to be Brie's downfall, so to speak. The 2-on-1, 3-on-1 handicap matches galore for the next month at least, considering what happened after Payback, and what happened at Payback as well when she slapped Stephanie. So yeah, it was a good match, but looking back at it now, I don't think it really needed the heel turn. But hey, it was a good Divas match, and both awesome female wrestlers. And Stephanie's improved since back in the day. I think her last match, if I remember correctly, alright, she was women's champion at one point, but that was in 2000. I think her last match was Trish Stratus in No Way Out in 2001. So that's, if I remember correctly. So I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologise, and please feel free to correct me. But yeah, she's vastly improved since then, because I don't think she was well skilled back then than she was in this match. I mean, she looked awesome, and she even did a pedigree better than Triple H, in my opinion, which probably pissed Triple H off. Right, February 14th was number 23, which was Cesaro and Randy Orton on SmackDown. Now, this was a great match, and this was highlighted for the fact that Randy Orton got beat. And Cesaro, this was supposedly Cesaro's star-making match, so to speak, which would put him on the map, so to speak. He beats Randy Orton. He eventually went on to win the WrestleMania Battle Royal, the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then went on to be a Paul Heyman guy, and then it went tits up from there, basically. Although things will improve with the new tag team, like I mentioned before the break. But yeah, that was number 22. Number 21 was an Intercontinental Championship number 1 contenders match on Raw, featuring Alberto Del Rio, now Alberto El Patron, Christian, Sheamus, and Dolph Ziggler in a Fatal 4-Way match, March 24th, right before WrestleMania. Yeah, I remember this very, very well, which Christian won as well. So, yeah, that was number 22. Number 21 was Seth Rollins. It was Money in the Bank. I don't agree with this one being in there, to be honest. Because let's face it, Rollins won it because of Kane. It was a brutal match, and then it was ruined by the corporate brown noser. For me. But, and it was also the return of Rob Van Dam as well. So, you guys have your way with that and make your decisions on that and whether you agree or not. But I don't think it should have been in there, but hey. Number 20, speaking of the Battle Royal that I mentioned during the Cesaro-Randy Orton, number 23, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was number 20 in the charts. Cesaro winning and basically just body slamming Big Show over the top rope for the win. And like I say, he went on to be a Paul Heyman guy, and then it went downhill from there. And like I said before the break, hopefully this will pick up with him and Tyson Kidd. Now, I don't know if you can call number 19 a match. To be fair, it was a match. It was for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was at SummerSlam. It was John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. I don't know if you can call it a match though, because let's face it, the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam between Cena and Lesnar was basically a John Cena ass whooping. That's what it was. The match after that, Night of Champions, was more of a match than the one at SummerSlam. I would have put that in there because the match at SummerSlam was just basically a John Cena beatdown. 16 suplexes, and, don't get me wrong, Cena fought back a little bit, but Lesnar was too strong and Lesnar dominated him. And when he got him in the STF, that just pissed Lesnar off. Lesnar got him up, F5'd him, won the belt. Yeah, I wouldn't have put that in there. I would have put the Night of Champions one in there more than this one, because like I say, this match at SummerSlam wasn't a match. It was more John Cena ass whooping. Definitely agree with this being in here. John Cena and Bray Wyatt, last man standing. It was a brutal match, and it was a payback, and yeah, I mean, this thing started at WrestleMania and it just went on from there basically until payback, and I think this was the match that ended it basically. And yeah, I definitely agree. It was a great match. Not the best last man standing match I've seen all year, but hey. Now, I have a beef with this one. Number 17. El Torito versus Hornswoggle WLC Extreme Rules on the kickoff show. Really, WWE? Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? This gets number 17 over Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Over a John Cena match, a last man standing match. Cesaro's match. The Money in the Bank match as well. I mean, come on, the Money in the Bank wasn't that big of a great match. Yes, it was brutal, but surely the Money in the Bank match was better than this WLC match, despite Kane's interference in that. I mean, come on, fuck's really, WLC? No wonder WWE gets stick. Jesus Christ. Number 16 was on Raw, June 23rd. Bad News Barrett and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. I believe this was before Barrett got injured, unfortunately. And I believe Barrett was the Intercontinental Champion at this point, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Bad News Barrett and Dolph Ziggler. Number 15 was the Elimination Chamber match at the February pay-per-view Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship, which saw Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Cesaro, Christian, Sheamus vie for the title. And we all know who won the match if you watch WrestleMania. It was Randy Orton who won it. But, and I believe that was the last Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Although I've heard it's been moved, though, from February, because they only put that to February because they had 2 belts. Now that they don't have a belt, moved the pay-per-view, and I believe they've moved it down to about, say, January or something. I don't know. I have to wait and see. Kind of agree with this one until Kane ruined it. But it was an awesome match nonetheless, and that was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Lumberjack match at SummerSlam. All the matches could have been in here, to be honest with you, from Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, but like I say, Kane's interference in that and spoilt it a little bit, but hey, it was still a good match. 13 was Cesaro and John Cena from Raw, February 17th. Yeah, go back and watch that match. It was a good match. That was the way they were pushing, and the way at the time, the way they were using Cesaro, they were pushing him, giving him all these big matches and that, building him, and then eventually he won the Battle Royal, and he became a Paul Heyman guy, and then went tits up from there. So hopefully But yeah, that was number 13. Number 12 was a personal favourite of mine, a match that I very much enjoyed, and a match, in my opinion, that is very underrated, because I don't think it gets the props that it deserves, in my opinion, which was Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble, which kicked off the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. This was a fucking brutal match, to say the least. It was a fight. It wasn't a wrestling match, although it was a wrestling match, but it was a fight nonetheless. I would have put this in the top 10 myself, but it at least it's in there. At least it's in the 25, in my opinion. I'm happy with it being in the 25. I would have put it in the top 10, but hey. Number 11 was an awesome match itself, and I know Steve Dawson will love this as well, although he'd probably think it was in the top 10. At Top Rope Elbow Steve Dawson on Twitter. Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Tyson Kidd triple threat elimination match, Intercontinental Championship on the line, SmackDown November 14th. A thing of beauty, this was. And this was in the UK as well, so go and find it. If you haven't seen it, go and find it. Go and watch it, because you'll enjoy it. It was a great match. Like I say, if Steve Dawson's listening to this, he'll probably think this should have been in the top 10, because he enjoyed that match as well. Number 10 was the Usos versus the Wyatt family, 2 out of 3 falls for the tag team titles of Battleground. I'm okay with this being in the top 25, but I don't think it should have been top 10. I really don't think it should have been top 10. You know, they could have swapped that with the Cesaro, the 3-way elimination match for the Intercontinental Championship, as I just said. Maybe Daniel Bryan's match with Bray Wyatt. There's a few other matches on there as well that they could have replaced it. It was a great match, but was it top 10 worth? I don't think so, in my opinion. Definitely top 25, but top 10, nah. Now, number 9 was Sami Zayn versus Cesaro at NXT Arrival. To be honest with you, they could have put any match involving Sami Zayn and Cesaro at NXT Arrival, which in NXT was, because they were all epic, and this just proves himself. And this match is what made Sami Zayn, this was the start of Sami Zayn as a wrestler, or as a superstar in WWE for me. And it just went on from there, and eventually Sami went on to win the world title. Or the NXT title, sorry. Number 8 was kind of a weird one for me. Number 8 was Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30. Now, if I had to choose out the main event in this, I would definitely pick this, because the main event of WrestleMania 30 was number 7, Orton, Bryan, and Batista. I don't know if I would have put them both in the top 10. Yeah, I'll leave that one for you guys to decide, you guys listeners. What do you guys think? You know, holler me back at Tony_Walker, at WM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook.com/WM Podcast. Oh hell, if you've seen this episode on YouTube, hit me up in the comments position below. You know, what do you guys think of that? I mean, that's a kind of a weird one for me. Number 6, probably their better match, since the one on Raw was a clusterfuck. It was Natalya and Charlotte, NXT Women's title on NXT TakeOver. Now, this was their better match, because, like I said, the one on Raw, which promoted Charlotte defending the title against Sasha Banks, basically was a clusterfuck, as far as booking goes, at least. But this one was a better match, and as we all know, Charlotte won, and Natalya had Brett in her corner. Charlotte had her dad in her corner, Ric Flair. And yeah, if you haven't seen this, go back and watch it. I recommend it. And that's how the women's division and the Divas division should be. If you want to see good women's wrestling, go to NXT, defo. Number 5 was The Shield and Evolution, the first of many brawls between these two teams. Yeah, it was a fight. That's all it was. An out-of-control wrestling match which turned into a fight. And the highlight of the match was Seth Rollins diving off the balcony as well, which was just epic. And yeah, I mean, it still amazes me how none of these matches got Match of the Year at the Slammy Awards. And the Match of the Year at the Slammy Awards was fucking the Team Cena and Authority match at Survivor Series. But anyway, number 4 was the Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Tyson Kidd Fatal 4-Way at NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way for the NXT title. Anybody else noticing a pattern here? There's 3 NXT matches in the top 10. You know, if that doesn't tell you something, nothing does. But yeah, it was a great match. Adrian Neville retained. And yeah, like I said, guys, if you haven't seen this match, Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Tyson Kidd Fatal 4-Way, NXT title on the line at NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way. Go back and watch it. Go back and find it. It is worth a watch, believe you me. Number 3 was The Shield and the Wyatt family at Elimination Chamber. Now, this was a brawl. There was no wrestling match in this. I don't care what anyone says. You can go back and watch this match. This was just a fight between two teams that at the time hated each other. They were working together and then they just fell out and it just exploded from there. And I could go back and watch this match all over again because, like I said, it was a fight. And I believe the Wyatts won, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong. But, yeah, it was a fight. It was a fight. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, go and find it, because I recommend it. And like I said, why wasn't this recognised as a match of the year at the Slammy Awards? I do not know. Because any one of them could have been match of the year, just like the other ones as well with Evolution, with Shield and Evolution. They could have been match of the year. But no, WWE decides to give it to the Survivor Series match. It was only because of Sting. Number 2. Again from NXT. 4 NXT matches are in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, of this. And if that, like I say, if that doesn't tell you something, nothing does. NXT is the place to be. NXT is the shit. And it was the title match from Our Evolution, Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, which is quite rightly so, because it was a great match nonetheless. Kind of ruined by Kevin Owens at the end. But I don't care, because I actually enjoyed it. It seems that Sami Zayn and seems Adrian Neville wants a piece of Kevin Owens as well, because Kevin Owens actually did the same thing to Adrian Neville as he did to Sami Zayn, powerbombed him on the ring apron. And I believe once Sami Zayn comes back, it'll be one of Ring of Honor's top feuds comes to NXT. I have no doubt, because as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch Ring of Honor back in the day, El Generico is Sami Zayn. So will they bring the, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, El Generico, will they bring them two together again in NXT and bring ROH's big feud to NXT? I hope so. But we'll see. We'll see when Sami returns. And now, speaking of number 1, I mentioned it earlier, and it's number 1 on here. Number 1 was Team Cena versus Team Authority at Survivor Series. Why? Why the fuck? Great match, yes, but hot match? My only suggestion is, guys, it was for the Sting situation. That was my only suggestion about it. Yes, Dolph Ziggler did well, 3-on-1, yada yada yada, but it was only for the Sting situation, because it was a great match, but top match of 25, match of the year, Slammy Awards, I don't agree. But hey, that was it, so to speak. And there you have it. That's my opinion on them. Go back and check them out yourself, guys, and see if you agree, and help. Like I say, comment me on Twitter, at Tony_Walker, at WM Podcast, Facebook.com/WM Podcast as well. And hell, hit me up on the YouTube page as well, YouTube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. And let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with WWE.com's top 25 matches of 2014? Do you agree with them? Is it a joke? Is it a farce? Is it bullshit? Let me know. Holler back, man. Don't be afraid to holler back. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Wrestling Matters podcast. But before I go, I'm going to do some promos. Quick promotions. Look out in 2015, guys, because I've got a website coming. That's right. It is theheadanthonywalker.weebly.com. Don't be looking for it yet, because it's not published. It's a personal website of mine for projects, for podcasts that I'm doing, and for any other stuff that deserves to be promoted or deserves to have its name put over as well. It's more my business website as well, but it's mainly for the podcast and other projects that I'm going to be doing. So be sure to check that out. I will let you know in future podcasts when that's coming and everything, but it's still in the work process right now. But be sure to check that out, and I'll let you know when it's up and running, or when it's going to be up and running very, very soon. So make sure you check that out. Also, in the new year, I don't know when, but I'm in the process of working on 2 podcasts for EPW. That's right, Chris. I hope you're listening to this, because you've got EPW podcasts coming. 2, in fact. One from London at the back end of August. That trip that I couldn't make, because I was working that weekend, doing other stuff. And the December 20th, in fact, Christmas show that you did with Bram, TNA Bram. And Chris, I hope you're listening to this. You've been telling me you've listened to a few podcasts via Facebook, and I hope you're listening to this, brother. So be on the lookout on the 20th December podcast. Be on the lookout for a pipe bomb, because I'm going to pipe bomb you on that episode. So I'm just giving you the heads up. Don't say you weren't warned, pal. Okay? Because besides the fact that you call me unprofessional for me coming to EPW and wrestling for you and doing the stuff that that you created for me to do. Like, for example, that's that angle we did in July 25th in Billingham. And then you turn around and call me unprofessional because when I'm done doing the stuff that you wanted me to do and that I did for you, I go backstage, get my gear, and I come back out and do the podcast work. And apparently that's unprofessional to you because I'm supposed to stay backstage because you're scared of people talking to me during the show and everything, which they don't, by the way. But in any event, that's what's frustrating about you, because your mouth. And although it's all of that, it's your booking as well. And if you want to know why, I suggest you listen to that podcast when it gets up and running, because let me tell you something. You do, I've seen the December 20th show at Colby Newman's Rainbow Leisure Centre. It was a great show, but your booking has to be fucking frustrating. And it's not the booking of the shows, it's the way you book the audience, to book it for the audience. And you want to know what the hell I'm talking about? I suggest you tune into the podcast when it's up and running. And don't worry, I will share you it. So be on the lookout for that pipe bomb. Because let me tell you this right now, I'll give you a heads up on it. Your booking is frustrating to me as a fan. But anyway, moving on from that, like I said, be on the lookout. There's one in London. There's one in Colby Newman's Rainbow Leisure Centre, the December 20th show. Both of them are coming soon on the podcast as podcasts. I'm not doing this for Chris. I hope you're listening. I'm doing this for the talent, because I was still a little bit upset with you calling me unprofessional back the last time I was at training, or the last time we talked to training, because the last time I was at training I only stayed there an hour and left. But yeah, I'm still putting EPW over on the podcast. You've got nothing to worry about there, but I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for the talent, because the talent that you've got is second to none, in my opinion. They've got some great guys there who can work, they're learning, and you know what? When I've trained with them, you know what? They bring the best out of me too. It's just a shame sometimes, Chris, you can be a pain in the ass. And don't come looking for me on Twitter, on Facebook and Twitter and all that, saying, "Oh, what are you talking about me like that for?" I speak my mind. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. But hey, that's how I roll on this podcast, pal. But like I say, look out for the pipe bomb on the podcast very, very soon. Will they be up? I don't know when they'll be up yet. I'm in the process. I've actually finished the 20th December episode, so that'll be up due time soon. I've got other stuff that I've got to do first, but I will get them up ASAP, you know. And if you want more information, ladies and gentlemen, on EPW Wrestling, check them out, epwwrestling.co.uk, EPW Wrestling 1 on Twitter. Chris probably doesn't even know the Twitter. Chris has probably lost the Twitter password and everything to get into that site. That's how, I mean, he doesn't even know hardly anything about computers half the time. And go to EPW Wrestling, EPW American Wrestling, in fact, on Facebook. So make sure you check them out for more information on EPW as well. Also check them out on YouTube, EPW Wrestling on YouTube. I think it's youtube.com/EPW Wrestling TV or EPW TV. I will look it up. I will send the link. If you're watching this, go to YouTube. I will put the link in the description on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the description on Podomatic as well, and any other sites that can take links. So be sure to check that out as well, and for more information. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas. Have a safe New Year. Don't do anything I would do. If you have an opportunity to go out and party for the New Year, do it. I don't know if I will be. I'll have to wait and see. But hey, if you do get the opportunity to go out and party, go and do it. Enjoy yourselves over the New Year. Have a safe New Year. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen of the Wrestling Matters podcast, I am Anthony Walker, the H, the E to the A to the D. Happy New Year. Until episode 40. Peace out.